Okay, so Dave, you've just arrived in Hay-on-Wye.
Yep.
I believe you've done a big walk. Do you want to tell us what's it all about?
Yeah, so I've walked into Hay. Great background noise. I've walked into Hay from Cardiff via probably the longest possible route involved in Wales. I started on the 5th of May in Cardiff Bay. I've walked all the way around the Wales coast path, with the exception of the last little bit I've got to do at the end of Offa's Dyke. So I'm now walking south on Offa's Dyke through Hay and heading for Chepstow. When I do that, I'll get to Chepstow, turn right and go back to Cardiff, and that'll be me finished. I'll have walked about 1,100 miles, and I'm doing it in aid of Cancer Research Wales and in memory of my dad, who worked on the Wales Coast Path. The Wales Coast Path opened on the 5th of May, so I've been walking since it opened, and I should be the first walker to have got all the way around since it was been officially opened.
Fantastic. Now I believe the company that you work for have let you have a couple of months off work. Do you want to just tell us a little bit about who you work for?
Yes, I work for BAE Systems, a big defence company. I work in a munitions factory, which we make all the ammunition for the British Armed Forces. So I'm running a project at the moment looking at some of the sort of safety and control of materials. But they've kindly allowed me to escape for 3 months. I've taken all my holiday for the year and then 2 months unpaid leave on top. But I'm promised there will be a job for me when I get back. Yeah, it's my team have come out a couple of times and said hello and walked with me for a stretch, actually from Prestatyn the other day, so they are expecting me to come back.
And are they joining you for the last day? Did I hear you say something about board of directors or something coming out?
Not my team, but my boss's bosses are all going to be coming out for a day to walk with me, which will be an experience. I'm sure they're going to walk about 12 miles with me through the last leg into Cardiff.
And how much money do you hope to raise by the end of this?
My target for the whole thing is £20,000. At the moment, I'm around about £6,500, so I've got a fair way to go.
So if people want to donate some money, where would they go to donate it? Have you got a Just Giving account?
I've got a website, which is walkwales1027.com. The 1027 is the official number of miles, 1,027. If you go to the website there's a donate link, and that'll take you through to a donation page. As I say, all the proceeds go to Cancer Research Wales. But as I say, when I get to the end of the walk, hopefully I'll get some more donations coming in then, because I'll have actually finished. But then following on from that, I'll try and do some more kind of associated activity, maybe talks and things, to raise some more cash.
Fantastic. And what about, do you recommend it? Do you recommend the walk?
The coast path is fantastic. I mean, the ability to go all the way around your own country is, well, it's a first in the world, and it's a great experience for me. I've just learned so much more about where I'm from, been to some fantastic places that I'll certainly go back to. Fingers crossed for better weather next time, to be honest, because it hasn't been great. But you know, the path itself, it varies in terms of how scenic it is, or in fact how easy it is to follow. But I think over the next few years, as more and more people get out and use it, it'll become a great resource for Wales. Yeah, I mean, perhaps don't recommend doing it all in one go, because it's quite a long way. But in sections, it's some great walking, and it's lovely to be out and see Wales.
What about the best spots? What's the highlight of the walk? Has there been one particular highlight?
I really liked Anglesey. Anglesey for me was kind of psychologically hard, because having walked 650 miles, I then turned left and carried on walking further away from home, which seemed wrong. But when I got there, it was really good actually. It's the scenery is really varied. There's all different sorts of landscape, and it's nice and quiet as well. You know, it's not too busy. Some of the other places that maybe Tenby and places a little bit touristy, but Anglesey, the villages are all small and very pleasant. So that was nice. And for sort of spectacular scenery, I know it's been there a while, but the Pembrokeshire coast takes some beating.
And what about, did I hear you climbed up Snowdon as well, which I've got a feeling isn't part of the coastal path for Wales?
I made a little detour, not strictly coastal, but the coast path takes you within sight of certainly the mountains of Snowdonia, and so doing this in memory of my dad. His policy was always, if you went for a walk and there was something pointy in view, then you had to get to the top of it. So I walked from Carnarvon all the way up to the top of Snowdon and back to Carnarvon again as a little detour,
and
just
actually,
for my own satisfaction.
You said your dad, Jerry, was actually quite instrumental in part of getting this footpath off the ground in the first place.
Yeah, that's the real reason for me having taken the walk on. was my dad worked for the Welsh Assembly, and in the latter part of his career he was heavily involved in the development of the Coast Path. Unfortunately he passed away from stomach cancer on the 9th of May 2011, so he was a year too early to see the path finished. So really the inspiration for the walk has been to go around Wales via my dad's path and on his behalf, you know, and it's been a good experience.
And the money for it's Cancer Wales,
Cancer
isn't it?
Research
Cancer
Wales,
Research
yeah,
Wales,
which is a small charity. They fund research in Welsh universities into cancer treatment and prevention. They're based in Bilindra Hospital in Cardiff.
Thank you. And what about, just to end with, what was the low point of the walk? I know you said you didn't think you were a very sociable guy, but you've spent many a days completely on your own.
Yeah, I mean, the nature of walking, particularly outside of the school holidays and in some of the areas where the Coast Path is new and not well travelled, is that you do spend a lot of time on your own, and I've walked the majority of the walk without company. So what I've discovered is I need people to talk to, and I got the North Wales stretch around the North Llŷn Peninsula on the way to Anglesey. I got very lonely and quite sad and started to think I wasn't going to make it all the way home, because I had still more than a month to go from there, and yeah, so I was starting to crave company a little bit, and also going slightly nuts. Especially I had one period where I walked along about 7 o'clock in the evening, and there were seals out in the bay. I couldn't see them, but they were making really weird noises. So I started to think, you know, am I imagining this? So yeah, but so some strange experiences along the way, but really in the main, I've met some lovely people. I've had some great conversations, which I probably wouldn't have had had I not been doing this, and yeah, I've seen some wonderful places.
And some great stories to tell.
I think so. There is the making of a book. Whether I've got time to write it when I get home, but there's certainly enough in there to make one if I got down to it. Yeah.
David, thank you very much and good luck.
Cheers.